So, here's a question for you. Which countries can truly feed themselves? I mean, completely, using only their own farms, their own orchards, and their own fisheries. No imports, just what they can produce within their own borders. It's a simple question, but the answer is surprisingly complex and honestly pretty fascinating. It gets right to the heart of global economics, climate, and how we've built our modern world. It's a question of resilience, and in a world with increasingly fragile supply chains, it's more relevant than ever. A new 2025 study, beautifully visualized in an infographic by Visual Capitalist and based on data from Nature Food, just dropped, and it gives us the clearest picture yet. This isn't just about growing enough calories. True food self-sufficiency, as defined by this research, means a country has to meet 100% of its population's needs across all major food groups. We're talking starchy staples like wheat and rice, fruits and vegetables, meat and fish, dairy, and even legumes and seeds. It's a really high bar to clear. And when you set the bar that high, the results are kind of shocking. Out of all the countries in the world, it turns out that only one, that's right, just one, achieves full self-sufficiency across every single category. So today we're going to break down the top 10 from this new report, look at what they're doing right, and where the gaps are. This is the Global Food Report Card. Let's get into it. Alright, so kicking things off at number 1, the only country on the entire planet to achieve 100% self-sufficiency across all 7 food groups is Guyana. And look, I get it, this is probably not the country you were expecting to see at the top of the list. It's a small nation on the northern coast of South America, with a population of just over 800,000 people. But its unique geography gives it a massive advantage. You've got these vast, fertile coastal plains that are just perfect for agriculture, especially for staples like rice and sugar cane. But it doesn't stop there. Their climate allows for year-round fruit and vegetable production, and they have more than enough land for livestock, so meat is covered. Then you look at their coastline and extensive river systems. They are just teeming with fish and seafood, easily meeting their domestic needs with plenty left over. It's this perfect storm of low population density, abundant natural resources, and a favorable climate that puts Guyana in a class of its own. It's the undisputed gold standard for food independence. Coming in at a very, very close second is Vietnam. Now, this is a country that has made some incredible strides. They successfully meet 6 out of the 7 food group requirements, which is a seriously impressive feat for a nation of nearly 100 million people. Their strength is rooted in a powerful agricultural tradition. The Mekong Delta is one of the most productive rice-growing regions on Earth, making them a powerhouse in starchy staples. Their long coastline and booming aquaculture industry also mean they have fish production completely locked down. So, what's the one area holding them back from that perfect score? Dairy. Like many countries in Southeast Asia, there isn't a strong historical tradition of dairy farming or consumption, and the climate isn't ideal for dairy cattle. So, for things like milk, cheese, and yogurt, Vietnam still relies heavily on imports. Next up at number 3, we have the heavyweight, China. And just like Vietnam, China also checks the box for 6 out of 7 food groups. Now, achieving this level of self-sufficiency for a population of over 1.4 billion people is, frankly, an unbelievable logistical and agricultural accomplishment. For decades, food security has been a top priority for the government, and you can see the results. They are world leaders in producing vegetables, fruits, and meat, particularly pork. Their output is just staggering. The scale of their farming operations allows them to feed their massive population almost entirely from within. So, where's the gap? It's the same story we saw with Vietnam dairy. While domestic dairy production is growing, it can't keep up with the rapidly increasing demand from a growing middle class. To satisfy that demand, China has become the world's largest importer of dairy products. Alright, moving to a completely different part of the world for number 4, we have Oman. This one is particularly interesting because it totally defies the typical image of a desert nation. Oman actually covers 5 out of the 7 food groups, which is pretty remarkable given its arid climate. Their biggest strength, unsurprisingly, comes from the sea. With a long coastline on the Arabian Sea, Oman has a highly productive and well-managed fishing industry. They've also invested heavily in agricultural technology, like desalination and advanced irrigation, which allows them to be self-sufficient in fruits, vegetables, and even meat. You wouldn't expect it, but they've honestly found ways to make the desert bloom. For our number 5 spot, we head into the South Pacific to the island nation of Vanuatu. Like Oman, Vanuatu also manages to be self-sufficient in 5 of the 7 food categories. Being an archipelago of over 80 islands, its greatest natural resource is the surrounding ocean. Fishing isn't just an industry here, it's actually a fundamental part of the culture and daily life. The volcanic soil is also super fertile, which allows them to grow an abundance of starchy root crops and tropical fruits. But island life comes with its own set of challenges. Importing goods like vegetables and dairy is essential, which really highlights the unique trade-offs that come with their island environment. At number 6 we have Laos, a landlocked country in the heart of Southeast Asia. And being landlocked presents a very different set of circumstances. Without a coastline, fish is obviously a major challenge, so they rely instead on freshwater aquaculture. But Laos compensates with very strong agricultural production in other areas, meeting 5 of the 7 food group needs. The fertile plains along the Mekong River are perfect for growing rice and a huge diversity of fruits and vegetables. Sliding into the number 7 spot is another major archipelago nation, the Philippines. With over 7,000 islands, it has an enormous coastline, which translates to a powerful fishing industry. They are also a titan in fruit production, being one of the world's top exporters of bananas and pineapples. Their tropical climate supports robust production of starchy staples like rice, as well as meat from poultry and hogs. The 2 areas where the Philippines relies on the global market are vegetables and dairy. Now for something completely different. At number 8, we have the mountainous, landlocked country of Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia. And this is where the patterns we've seen so far get flipped on their head. Thanks to its vast high-altitude pastures, the country has a deep-rooted nomadic tradition of animal husbandry. This makes them incredibly strong in both meat and, notably, dairy production. Finally, a country in our top 10 that has dairy completely covered. The Jailus, or summer pastures, are ideal for grazing cattle, sheep, and goats. Right next door at number 9 is Uzbekistan, famous for its fruits and vegetables. Their melons and grapes are legendary, and they produce a huge surplus thanks to fertile valleys and extensive irrigation systems dating back centuries. And rounding out our top 10, we head back to Europe to the Baltic nation of Latvia. Latvia achieves self-sufficiency in 5 of the 7 food groups, but with a profile that reflects its northern European climate and geography. The country has vast areas of arable land perfect for starchy staples and livestock. However, the shorter growing season makes it difficult to produce enough variety of fruits and vegetables year-round, especially during the long winter months. So as we've seen, true, 100% food self-sufficiency is incredibly rare. Only Guyana, with its unique combination of resources and low population, manages to check every single box. For everyone else, there's always a trade-off. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just the reality of global trade and specialization. The full study from Visual Capitalist and Nature Food ranks dozens more countries, and it's genuinely fascinating to explore. The infographic they've built is beautifully done and lets you see the specific strengths and weaknesses of nations all over the globe. So, what do you think? Were you surprised by any of the countries on this list? Go take a look at the full infographic and find out how your country ranks. Let us know what you find in the comments below. I'm curious to see the results. And of course, if you enjoyed this data-driven deep dive, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.